Hello, this is Team Showbout. We are here with the second place OTS tournament champion playing Altergeist. So
yeah, that's me. So it was super standard, except a few spicy, I guess maybe. So there are the three. Marionette, you got a player. She's Monster Reborn. She sets your spells and your traps, so have to. And then the three spot removal searcher, super good. Like, I think it's the best card in the deck, more than Multi-Faker, because it gets rid of problem cards, it searches, Link Repo's real good, things like that. Multi-Faker, because it special summons the next card, Sulkitis. So you have to play three, so you can see it as often as possible, and you don't want to see too many of this in your opening hand, because it's bad in your hand, but you still draw it anyway. Then the One Horsewoman, because some people don't like it. I think it's really good. You get to stop attacks, negate effects. If you have spoofing, like Sulkitis, and you can just loop it.
Yeah,
real annoying. You can negate like 5 attacks in a turn and bounce cards. It's real annoying. For hand traps, we play 3 Ash Blossom because it's the most generic hand trap there is.
Powerful.
2 Ogre. This was really good in one of my matchups against Sky Strikers where I hit the field spell and multi-roll, so he couldn't do anything. And then we were trying out 2 DD Crow. The DD Crow actually was surprisingly good. It banished some traps from Paleos, it banishes Ray, it banishes spells from the graveyard for Sky Strikers. If I had gone up against Goki, you can banish things to help fizzle out their rematch, things like that. So it was pretty good.
Usually gets me.
Yeah. For spells, we only played 3 Shared Ride. Some decks play Duality and Desires. I used to play Duality, and I acknowledge that Desires is a good card. I don't like it, so we tried out to just main deck the 3 Shared Ride. It didn't do anything. It's probably going to get taken out. Traps, we have the Altergeist traps first, the triple spoofing. It's the search card of the deck, helps you trigger Multi-Faker, loop Conquery, all kinds of nonsense.
You wish you can search that.
Gosh, I wish. We need a Link monster that searches this. It'd be amazing. The 2 Protocol, because making it so your opponent can't stop you, but you can stop them, is real good. And then 2 Manifestations. Some people only play 1. I think 2's correct because you can banish, if you have both in the grave, you can banish 1 to get the other back and just keep recycling it with the spoofing, and I think 2 is the right number. We have another hand trap. That's literally hand trap. Infinite Impermanence. You gotta play this if you're playing the Altergeist. It triggers Multi-Faker, negates a trap, negates a monster effect, and then you get a spoofing, so it's real good.
Yep.
We decided to try main decking Heavy Storm Duster for pure because that was going to be everywhere, and it was. It was pretty good. That's about all there is to say on that. It blew up things.
Waking the Dragon.
Yes, this card. I hate and love this card at the same time. I resolved it twice. Once in the first match where my opponent, I was playing the mirror match, and my opponent sent it with a Meluseek, and I summoned Ultimate Falcon and won. And then I also got it off against a Sky Striker when I summoned Exterio, which is supposed to win the game, but then they had the Ogre for the Exterio, so it was real underwhelming all day. Even though I hate this card, I still feel like main decking it's correct with pure playing double Twin Twister and all the back row removal that they have. It scares them game 1 if they pop it. They don't know if you put it in or take it out, so I think even though I hate it, you have to play 2. The Solemn Brigade, got all of them here.
Say no to your opponent.
Exactly, that. Say no even harder. Also, these 3 mismatch rarities for the Secret, Ultra, and Super, just to bug people. I took these out going to the 200th and then put them back in, and they're stupid because you just... Shout outs to another YouTuber I watched with his deck profile that got 4th place, I think, at one of the 200ths. He just said that the game plan was to keep them away from Ray, which is how you win. Because if you strike the Kagari, then they cry. If you strike anything that keeps them away from Ray, then they cry. So these were real good. And then the win card, we have Imperial Order because spells say no.
Yeah, Sky Strikers.
Kind of what this deck is.
Trickstars.
Exactly what this deck's built to beat. For the side deck, we have 2 of these. I was playing 3, and then I would draw 2 in my opening hands. So we decided to cut it down to 2, and I never resolved it once. So I don't know how I feel about this card. We decided to side deck. Normally I main deck this engine because I think main decking the Secret Villages and the Metaverses is correct, because if you activate Metaverse, they can't chain Twin Twister, they can't chain MSD, they can't chain anything to get rid of this. And once it's on the field, they pure can't get rid of it. So I think main decking this is correct. I was just already playing 42 in the main deck, so we had to side deck it. We decided to side the Mind Crush.
Ooh, side.
Yes.
I see a lot of builds main deck.
Normally, I would main deck it, but it's literally the worst feeling in the world when you go Mind Crush and then they chain Twin Twister and you lose 3 cards because they blow up 2 and you have to discard a card, so you go -4 and it sucks.
Ouch.
So we decided to side deck this. It was better side decked, I think. Triple Evenly, because you have to.
Yeah, Evening is a good card.
I didn't resolve it once, but you know, you gotta play it.
I did.
Yeah, you sure did, you monster. Then the 3 Wiretap. This card is amazing. It stopped Evenly. It stopped Red Reboot. This card is so good in the Altergeist. It's better than the red Reboot because you don't want to play Red Reboot in this deck because then your opponent gets a trap. So Wiretap's just so much better.
Yeah, anything could be half if you in hand.
Yeah, we're not about paying life points. We already pay enough as it is. So then for the extra deck, I played 2 Linkuriboh. I don't play Claire and Rushka because I don't main deck the Metaverses and Secret Villages. I also think that Claire and Rushka is really bad. I played her at the 200th and she did a whole lot of nothing. So we're not playing Claire and Rushka again. Triple Hextia. 2 is what normal people play. And then I had a free space, so we put a 3rd one in. There are instances where the 3rd one comes up. Normally you only really need 2, but there are instances where the 3rd one comes up and you have to have the 3rd one to win. So playing 3.
Like grind games.
Yeah, exactly. Playing 3 is really good. We played 1 Kadalga. I've made this card all of once in the whole time I've ever played this deck, so it's probably coming out. It's kind of cute to like steal Boral Loads or Boral Swords or big monsters from the graveyard, but other than that, it doesn't do a whole lot. We played the 1 Prime Banshee. This card's real good. It lets you summon Multi-Faker from the deck if you don't have access to it in your hand. It gets you Recursion from the graveyard. One of the only outs to Ultimate Falcon is having a Hextia point to a Prime Banshee, so it becomes 36 and you can beat over it. So you kind of have to play this card to out the Ultimate Falcon.
Yeah.
We played this one little spicy card that lots of people are hyping because of Ray, because as long as they don't have Ray, you win. So this stops Ray from summoning itself during the damage step because you can negate it. It's also pretty good in the mirror match because it can stop Meluseek from popping cards that you don't want them to pop, so it's pretty solid all around. Borreload. I made this card once because it was so dumb. I've never made this card before. It's more of like a cherries target because Altergeist can't deal with it that well because it can't be targeted, so we can't Meluseek it away, we can't Silkitas it away, we can't target it with Conquery to negate its effect, so this card's a problem, so it's a cherries target, but I was in a situation where I had my Link Zone full and I had 5 monsters and I needed to summon another one, so we made Borreload, and that was cool, I guess.
Yeah, we heard that the first guy, Altergeist deck that first ever made.
Yeah, he lost his mind. The 1 Firewall, because Goki, I didn't see it all day, but we don't like Goki.
I went against Goki.
Oof, we did not.
Game 1 and Game 2, we lost.
Yeah, that's a really mean card. I play 1 of each. The theory that I came up behind this is if they activate the Hornet drones, you get rid of Kagari, and if they normal summon Ray, you get rid of Shizuku, because if they have Ray and you call Shizuku, they either have to chain Ray to get 1 Shizuku out, in which case they don't go into Kagari, so that's amazing, and then they just don't get Kagari for the turn, or they lose all 3 of their Suzukus, which is where some of their recursion comes from. And then, of course, you call this when they have the drone, because the drone doesn't have the quick effect, so you just get get rid of all their Kagaris for free.
Yeah, I dropped one of them because I didn't need it.
That's fair. That's fair. I like both, and I have the space for it, so we played it. This card was really silly. I got this from the guy doing this video right now. He let me borrow it. There were a few Cyber Dragons running around, and a friend of mine played me in the airport on our way back from the 200th, and he beat me 5 games in a row because having a searchable card that pops everything is really scary. And this actually came up in the 5th round where it got me a draw against the Cyber Dragon player because he had Inspect Border, which is a machine, and then he made the mistake of normal summoning a Dry or something, which is like another level 4 that counts as Cyber Dragon on the field. And so this requires Cyber Dragon and a machine. So we got rid of his Dry and the Inspect Border, and then just sat on this because we were under goes in, so we kind of just had to sit on this, and it was real sad. But this came up, and I think it's pretty good since Cyber Dragons are a pretty good road deck right now.
Yeah,
and then the 2 Waking Dragons targets, the Exterio, and yes, we don't want to see this chicken. We can't deal with chicken. So these are both kind of what you have to go for: unaffected by everything, and then stop everything. This is always the correct choice against Sky Striker. I made this at the 200th against a Sky Striker, and he beat over it with Boral Sword, which is awful. So that's why this card's bad. This is always the right choice against the Sky Strikers, but he had the Ogre to negate it. So in the end, to destroy it. So in the end, it didn't really do a whole lot, but those are the 2 targets.
And if he ever hit Waking the Dragons, and he just chain Reaper.
Yeah,
Reaper their monster.
It's not a whole lot of fun. It's an option. My matches, round 1 was the mirror match, surprisingly, and my opponent didn't know how to play. He said he picked up the deck like 2 weeks ago and didn't know what he was doing. The only reason I won game 1, he was going to win game 1. He was going to. He should have. But he made the mistake of Melu-seeking the Waking the Dragon, and I summoned Ultimate Falcon, and then attacked for game, and then we were drawing our opening hands for game 2, and time was called during his standby phase, so I had the win from game 1, and so I just got the win because no damage had been dealt and it was standby phase. So he won that. Game match 2 was against Sky Strikers, and we 2-0'd him because keeping them away from Ray is so important. Round 3 was also against Sky Strikers, and we had a draw. I paid a lot of life points game 1, so I was really low, but I just had a hand advantage and field advantage, and I ended up making a Hextia that pointed to a Hextia that pointed to a Marionetter, so we had so much damage on board and just was able to do that. And then in game 2, he won, so we got the draw. Round 4 was against Dinosaurs, and I won game 1 because I won the die roll. Game 2, he won because he OTK'd me. And then game 3, I won because first turn he ended with a Tyranno and 1 card in hand. So that was super rough for him. He didn't have anything to go with that. Round 5 of Swiss was against my friend with the Cyber Dragons. I won game 1, and then game 2, that's when the Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon came into play and got me a draw against him. He was undefeated, so getting the draw was pretty cool. So we were 3-1 going into top 8. Top 8, I played against a friend of ours, Sean, and he was playing Paleozoics, and he won game 1, and then game 2, the game plan was just Melu-Seek poke over and over and over again. So we did more damage that way and won because I normal summoned a Melu-Seek and attacked, and then sent a card, and I had a set manifestation, so I activated manifestation to get the last 500 I needed. And then game 3, I had higher life points because of Melu-Seek poke again, and he was comboing off, making a bunch of monsters, and time was called during his main phase. So, yep, the one Melu-Seek got us there. He may have thrown his cards on the table and fallen to the floor. He was a little annoyed. He said the game was good, but it was fun, but he was a little annoyed. Top 4, I played against a Mech Knight, Invoked, Sky Striker, that whole conglomeration of whatever.
Weird.
I think that deck's real bad. I 2-0'd him, which I don't know. I don't think that deck does a whole lot. The Mechaba's scary, I guess, but they don't play a whole lot of traps, so we kind of resolve everything we want. Top 8, I played against your boy across the table from me.
Top 2.
Yes, top 2. Finals. Yeah. We played against Mr. Trickstar himself. And honestly, I feel like the reason I can't beat you is because I misplay so often against you for some reason. Like at Vans, I misplay too, and then today, or at the event, I had the Heavy Storm Duster to get rid of your warning before I normal summoned the Marionetter to get its effect, and I didn't.
I think I have a strike.
Oh, well, of course you did, because you have all the nations of the world. Yeah. This man.
I guess the dinosaur player, I stopped all his plays and just 2-0 him.
This man savaged me. So we got second place. We got our invite. That's all I can really ask for. I got to goof around today at locals and play Abyss Actor. So the invite was all we needed. So
yep,
that was good.
Well, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and always have a nice day. Bye for now.